What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Play-by-Play. I'm Brian Madoff, joined by Andrew Savita and Alex Regi. Welcome on this Friday night. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with some NFL pick'ems. Would you like to lead us off?
Yeah, let's do it. So, like Brian said, we are recording this on a Friday night. So, the 49ers went into Seattle and got that W. Just to clarify, I had the 49ers winning. What about you guys?
I, too, had the 49ers winning. I had the 49ers winning as well.
Cool. Clean sweep there. So, that's off to a good start for the week. Next, London game. Home game for the Jaguars, some would say.
I would agree.
So 6:30 a.m. Kickoff time for us over here. We got Jaguars at the Bears. So what do you guys think?
Man, I think even with the win last week, they just didn't look that good. I mean, they gave up 34 points to Joe Flacco. So for me, I'm going to go with the Bears. I still like their defense. I think they take this one. A little bit of a preview into the entire show with the way he was talking before. I'm going to disagree with AJ here. I'm going to take the Bears. The Jaguars did no reason to shit on Joe Flacco. He could obviously do it last year. Proves he can still do it this year. Jaguars can't defend the deep ball, and Caleb's looking pretty good. I'm going to take the Bears.
Nice. Yeah.
Agree with me. But you said about your Joe Flacco take. That's okay.
And then, so I'm going to go with the Bears as well. I think, like they said, Caleb has improved over the last couple weeks. Defense is obviously, stellar. And I just don't think that Trevor Lawrence is going to repeat what he did last week. So we'll see.
He did look good.
Next, arguably the game of the week, in my opinion. Some would say should get flexed to Sunday Night Football, some being me.
They should.
The Commanders at the Baltimore Ravens. Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson 1-on-1. Let's see. I'll lead it off. I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. I think pass defense has struggled, but hopefully with the limitation of the run, force Jaden Daniels to pass. Hopefully we can, capitalize on a couple of mistakes. So I got the Ravens.
Yeah, I think for me, I think we're seeing some of the highest highs as a rookie for Jaden Daniels. And I think I would argue they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now, but I think this is where we see his game come back down to earth. We saw last year with CJ Stroud. The Ravens, completely shut him down. So I think there's some growing pains that you're going to see as a rookie. And I think this is the week where we see it. So I'm taking the Ravens.
I don't think we're going to see any growing pains from Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to put on a show. I think he's going to have to. You cannot run against the Ravens defense. You just can't. Luckily for him, you can throw the ball there. I believe in the bottom 5 of pass defense this year, so far this year at least. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that Ravens offense is really starting to click. I know Harbaugh said he's not going to give it to Henry 30 times. Turns out the best way to run your offense is to give it to Henry 30 times. I'm going to take the Ravens in a shootout. I think this game, no betting advice, but if I was in a state that could bet, I'd probably take the over.
All right. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Green Bay Packers. AJ, who you got?
Sneaky good game we got here. Cardinals fresh off a win against the Niners. And then Green Bay, who did they beat last week? The Rams?
Yeah,
it was the Rams. I got the Green Bay taking it just because they're at home. I think they had that sour taste in their mouth from when the Vikings came back. I think they're going to want to play good in front of the home crowd. Give me the Packers in this one.
I'm going to take the Packers as well. I think it just depends on what defense for Arizona shows up. They looked like Swiss cheese 2 weeks ago. They looked really good last week. So I think it just depends. But I think if they show their face of being a bad defense again, Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur are going to pick them apart.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go with the clean sweep. I got the Green Bay Packers as well. I think, coming back from injury, Jordan Love has looked a little sketchy. Obviously, just getting back from injury, you're going to kind of expect that. So I believe this would be his 3rd week back. So we'll see if he get his legs underneath him and secure the W at home. Next game, stinky game.
What do you mean?
Stinky game.
Oh, they're going to blow them out.
Okay.
Texans in Foxborough against the Drake May-led New England Patriots. Brian, who you got?
I think this is the worst week to start Drake May.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's brutal. I mean, I don't think starting Drake May at any point this year is a smart move with how hurt and bad their offensive line is. You're just asking for him to get hurt, especially with the pass rush that Shaduson defense has. I'm taking the Texans, and they're going to cover, and they're going to, I think, like I said, I think they're going to blow.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my guys, the Texans. It's not a great week. They just lost Nico Collins to IR with a hammy. Not sure if Joe Mixon's gonna play, so the run game has been very abysmal, to say the least. Yeah, but he didn't have a great line. All I can hope for is a win and guys coming out healthy. So I'll take the Texans in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texans as well. It's gonna be tough for the Patriots to get something going. I think Drake May, obviously, first career start. Eddie doesn't have Ramondre Stevenson in the backfield, so that's already gonna be limited right there. But I don't know. I feel like the defense for the Patriots, I feel like they have some dogs there. So
Gonzalez is good.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez is really good. He's showed that he's really good. And I feel like they had to make the quarterback change. Otherwise, you risk losing your locker room if you're Gerard Mayo. So we'll see. Maybe Drake May lights a fire under their ass, but I still got the Houston Texans. AJ, you want to take the next game?
Yeah. So we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into what's it called, New Orleans. Who do you got going, Red?
Spencer Rattler gets his first career start too. Another rookie career start. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. They lost in a shootout to Atlanta last week, but so that defense looked kind of sketchy. We'll see if Spencer Rattler can piece them up like Kirk Cousins did, over 500 yards passing last week. But I still think Baker's gonna provide the firepower needed, and I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning.
I think if this was Derek Carr, I'd be taking the Saints. It's not. I think Baker's got enough. I think give me the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucs as well. I think, even with Derek Carr, I probably still would have taken the Bucs. But just you got a rookie. The best thing they can hope for is catching fire early in this game, and then just carrying it out throughout the game. But for me, I'm gonna take the Bucs. So for our next one, I would think this is a stinky game, but that's just me.
Yeah,
we got the Browns going into Philly. What do you got?
I got Philly coming off of a bye. Gonna be nice and healthy. They got AJ Brown back, Devontae Smith back. Got a fresh Saquon Barkley. I think that offense is gonna be rolling, especially at home against Cleveland, whose defense was supposed to be good, but they've been very lackluster to say the least. Give me the Eagles by a lot.
I think the Eagles too. And the only thing I'll say is, if the Eagles don't win, Coach Sirianni might want to check his back walking around Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They're going to be pissed, especially with what happened.
They're gonna lock him out the building.
Yeah, no, I got the Eagles on this one, and I think health is the biggest thing you want out of this. Just like I think the Texans, you're hoping. I would say, damn near everyone is expecting the Eagles to win. So you just hope you can keep everyone healthy throughout the process. So I'm gonna take the Eagles in this one, and then for the next one, we got the Colts, led by, is it Joe Flacco still?
Anthony Richardson's prepared to take the start,
but we'll see.
All right. Well, we got them going against the Titans in Tennessee. Who do you got?
Give me the home team. Give me a home team division game. I think coming off of a bye is definitely going to help them. Those buys, especially early in the season when teams start off a little slow, a little soft. I think it kind of helps them a lot. So you're going to see me picking the teams coming off of a bye a lot here. So I'll take the Titans. I don't think Anthony Richardson, you guys know how I feel about him. I don't think he can get it done. I think he's the second best quarterback on that team. So we'll see.
What do you got?
I think that's an accurate statement, at least for now. Anthony Richardson has played a handful. One of his faults is he's only played a handful of games since getting to Florida, let alone to Indianapolis. I'm going to take the Colts, though, and I'm going to take them regardless if it's Flacco or Richardson.
No Jonathan Taylor again, too.
No, Jonathan Taylor obviously hurts, and there is obviously still that outside chance that there's no Pittman. It doesn't seem like that really matters at this point right now, and the Colts defense can't stop a nosebleed, but there's always the possibility that Will Levis does some Will Levis stuff and turns the ball over in a stupid way 2-3 times. And the Colts are interesting. They're losing some close games, and I know it's everything in the NFL. Everything's one score. It's real close, but I think this is going to be a one-score game. But I do think that the Colts will be the team ahead.
Yeah, it's a division game.
Yeah,
It'll be tough.
Yeah, I see some sneaky points in this game. I think there's going to be some good offense on both sides. I know the Colts are lacking JT, but I'm gonna take them this week. I think Joe Flacco gets them going in the right direction again. So I'm gonna take Joe Flacco.
All right, so we now have I almost said San Diego Chargers. They are the Los Angeles Chargers against the Denver Broncos in Mile High. Who do you have, Red?
This one's kind of a tough one. Another one of those important in-division games. Broncos coming off a really nice win last week. Kind of sneaky, sitting at 3-2
On a streak?
on a streak. You know, that's not gonna matter to me though. I'm gonna take the San Diego. You got me saying San Diego. Los Angeles Chargers.
All right.
I think again, shocker. I think with Justin Herbert getting healthy, and hopefully that ankle injury is a little behind him. I think J.K. Dobbins getting some rest. I think I see them going in there and winning.
All right. I'm actually gonna take the Chargers. I know they're hot. I just
Do you know what Red picked?
yeah. But I would say the Broncos are favored going into this, having it be a home game.
Maybe.
I would think they're the favorites. That was why I gave the initial answer. But
I'm not surprised like you're condescending.
no, yeah, I want to take the Chargers. I think it helps coming off a bye week. And I think they'll pull this one off. It'll be low scoring, I will say that, but I think they pull this one off.
I'm gonna disagree. Bo Nix looks whatever. Sean Payton's a good coach. That defense is unbelievable. And I know Herbert. I'm a huge believer in Herbert, but I think that defense is for real, man. Like they're really good. They're gonna carry him to a lot of wins. I'm gonna take the Broncos. All right, so now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers in Sin City playing the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll start with you this time, AJ. Who do you got?
Oh man, this game's gonna stink. I see a lot of Raiders on X, Raider fans, all excited about Aiden O'Connell starting, and all of a sudden Devontae Adams wants to be there again. So I don't know.
What I thought.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, as far as the drama, the cloud over that team, I don't know what beef he's got with Gardner Minshew, but apparently Aiden O'Connell is his guy. So, but not for me.
Which is gross.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think they win this one pretty handily, and I think they get back on track after last week.
My turn.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen me edit this at all? Because this has been my picks for the last 3 days.
Oh.
Give me the home team. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, coming off of that loss against the Cowboys, aren't gonna. They're not gonna bring. They're not gonna bring it back up this week. Kind of a sketchy pick, but we'll see. Like you said, Aiden O'Connell getting the start.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if that gives them the spark that they need. Kind of seems like George Pickens is having some drama issues. When my number one wide receivers half-assing some routes, I'm not going to want to throw to him either.
Playing half the snaps.
That's right. But we'll see. I still got the Raiders beating the bum Steelers.
Well, don't worry, Don. I got the Steelers. I don't think it really matters who plays quarterback for them this week. I don't think the Raiders are a very good team. I will say I've never seen a fan. Oh, I have, but that fan base waste on Justin Fields fast, and now they want Russ. They're probably going to get Russ if he's healthy. It looks like he actually might be the backup quarterback instead of like the emergency third. But for this game, I don't think it matters. I think that the Steelers have certainly good enough defense to turn the ball over on Aiden O'Connell quite a few times. If I'm going to be honest, I mean, you lost me when you bent the quarterback that wears Jorts. That's a Pro Bowler last year.
Oh my
God. Pro Bowlers. All right.
They should have resigned him.
Oh, no, they shouldn't. Their backup's actually probably the better quarterback on their team. So at least for now.
Brutal.
But I'll take the Steelers. It's not brutal when you got Joe Flacco.
Comparing crap against crap. Get us in our next one.
Thoughts? we got the Atlanta Falcons in the dumpster fire of Carolina. Not only did Carolina have to deal with a bunch of hurricanes, but now they have to deal with watching the Panthers play again on Sunday, which is going to bring them no happiness, which they very much need. Can I, if it's all right, I know we don't normally do this, but I'd like to start this off. I'll keep it short. The Panthers suck. Give me the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, especially I think Atlanta's finding their groove now. Getting all the guys involved in offense except for Bijan Robinson for whatever reason.
Yeah, why would you want to get him involved?
He's probably one of the best running backs in the league, but let's just let Kirk slay it. I'm taking the Falcons. I don't think this one's going to be very close.
Yeah, short and sweet. Give me the Atlanta Falcons as well. We'll see if Kirk O'Chains can repeat what he did last week. We'll see.
You know who's starting that game for the Panthers? Is it the Red Rocket? Or
I think they're gonna
miss.
Yeah, I think they're gonna stick with Andy Dalton, even though they benched him and brought in poor Bryce Young. Oh my gosh, that poor kid.
Good for his 7 throws.
But that dude gets beat up, man. Like,
oh man,
that dude's running for his life.
What he lacks in stature, he carries it.
It doesn't matter who starts for the Panthers; they're losing.
No,
plain and simple.
I'll tell you what. Bryce Young needs an escape. I understand it's a different situation. Trey Lance going from 49ers, obviously a really good situation, but he needs a trade for like a 3rd round pick to somewhere where they have at least have somebody.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like anytime soon though.
No, because they gave up a lot.
Yeah,
for him. Now I understand it wasn't that regime, but still. All right, now we move to another game that could have been prime time. Certainly, when you talk about the team from Dallas, we have Detroit traveling down to Dallas to play the Cowboys at Jerry World. Red, who do you got?
Again, coming off of the bye, I think it's gonna be nice and fresh for the Detroit Lions. Give me the Lions in Jerry World.
Yeah, I think that offense is going to start clicking. Sam LaForte has been a little inconsistent this year. I think, given the bye week, they get back to what was really important for him last year, getting him in the end zone. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does it this week. So give me the Lions.
I'm going to take the Lions too. I just don't have much faith in the Cowboys. I know they pulled out a really hard-fought victory late at night against the Steelers, but nobody, what do the Lions like to do? They like to pound the rock. They'll run in between the tackles. They'll run outside. And the big knock on this Cowboys defense is they're small. And I understand Gibbs and Montgomery aren't the biggest running backs in the world, but those linemen are huge. And those linemen are going to move bodies. Yeah, I think collectively they'd probably run for over 200. If I were to, guys, I don't know. I'm not going to say one running back's going to go for over 100 or something like that. I just think you could see a total offense of 200.
Absolutely.
Rushing yards for the Lions in that game. All right, now. This competition's gross. We have the 1-4 Cincinnati Bengals fighting for their life, going to MetLife and playing the New York Football Giants. AJ, in the snooze fest of a primetime game, who do you have?
Whoever made this the Sunday night game, you wanted us to miss it, didn't you? But I'm not better. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna have a great time watching it, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals in this one. I think especially with Malik Neighbors missing this game again. Yeah, they pulled it out last week against Seattle. I haven't been too high on Seattle all season. But I think the Bengals go in there, put up some points, and I think they take this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bengals go into MetLife and put up a good amount of offense. That defense is sketchy.
And no Thibodeau.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's gonna be an easy win, a nice comeback win from the tough overtime loss to the Baltimore Ravens last week.
I think I'm gonna take the Bengals as well. The only thing that does worry me is Dexter Lawrence is playing great football right now. He has 6 sacks as a nose tackle. He's playing real well, and I think he could get to Joe Burrow a few times. It won't be enough though. I just don't. The Bengals defense isn't that great, but until Danny Dimes can show me something, which I don't know if he will. I'm gonna take the Bengals. I just think that they shred that defense through the air. Bengals probably will win comfortably, I think.
Yep.
Next primetime game on Monday, also in MetLife. We have the Buffalo Bills, who still currently have their head coach, and the New York Jets, who do not
Yeah.
have their head coach.
Robert Saleh out.
No more Bob.
No more Bob Saleh.
No more Bob
Out.
Saleh. All right. Go ahead, Red. Who do you think? Oh, who do you have?
I have the Bills. I have the Bills winning. In division game, big game for them. Obviously, a tough loss for them against the Texans last week. You'd like to see a nice comeback. We don't know if Khalil Shakir is going to play. He hasn't practiced all week, so it's not looking likely that he will. And that's Josh Allen's favorite target, arguably.
Yeah, he is.
And you want to see, so you like to see him get James Cook involved in the passing game. Obviously, the run game is going to be there. Maybe get Keon Coleman with a couple more targets because he's explosive when he gets that ball. And then the Jets just look terrible, and
Yeah.
I think the firing of Robert Saleh, it's not on him. It was an Aaron Rodgers call for sure. You could tell just watching the tape, Aaron Rodgers is like 50% on that leg that Achilles that he hurt last year. I think he's doing a lot more harm than good, in my opinion. But we'll see with the change of offensive coordinators too. Nathaniel Hackett's not getting the play calling duties, so we'll see if that gives them a spark that they need.
Yeah, I think it's just a very dysfunctional look right now for the Jets. You even had Sauce Gardner go in the media talking about how they didn't want him to go.
Yeah.
So, and you got the owners claiming he did it himself on his own. Who knows how true that is, but when it comes down to football, I'll give it the Bills.
I'm going to disagree with both you guys. I'm going to take the Jets only because there are a good amount of stats that point to the fact that there is a bump that teams get when a coach is fired. Now, this is a little bit of a controversial one because did the Jets look great? No. But you hired Robert Saleh to be a defensive coach, and they're top 5 defense. Numbers-wise, I do believe they are. You can roast me in the comments if they aren't, but I do know they're close. And the offense has been the problem. But shit. Jeff Saturday won his first game last year. So there is a little bit of a coaching bump. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be for this one because it was such a split in the locker room type of fiery. But I'm not going to risk it. The stats show go with the team that just fired the coach. I'm going to go with the team that just fired the coach. I'll take the Jets.
All right.
I think that'll wrap it up, right?
Yeah, that'll wrap it up for the pick'em.
Guys, we're going to go ahead and let's move on to... Let's go a little bit more, unless you guys don't want to, let's go a little bit more in depth about Robert Saleh's firing and kind of what it means for the Jets in the future. Kind of, I have, if you don't mind, I have an idea about where the Jets might go after this year. Obviously they fired Saleh. I don't think the coach they have now his name is kind of eluding me.
It was their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they're probably not going to keep him as the head coach after this year. Joe Davis, their GM, is on the last year of his contract. There is one guy that's available that notoriously does both after this year. And the big thing that one of the reasons it seems like some teams didn't hire him was because it did mean a total overhaul of everything. He was bringing his own scouts. He was bringing his own stuff. He wanted to do it his way, which, by the way, his way won 7 Super Bowls. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets are heavy in trying to get Bill Belichick after this year because of the vacancy at head coach and the vacancy at GM. I don't think they're going to re-sign Joe Douglas, even though he hasn't done a terrible job as GM. They do have a really good defense, and they certainly look like they have the pieces to win. But I would not be shocked if they move forward and got someone like Bill Belichick next offseason.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's definitely the favorite when it comes to that head coaching opening. I think it automatically is going to come down to if Bill wants to go there. You got to look at it. Aaron Rodgers is not getting any older, or I'm sorry, not getting any younger. He's definitely getting older.
Yes.
And like I said earlier, you can tell in some of the games, some of the plays that he's had, that Achilles just doesn't look right. He doesn't look as mobile. You could chalk that up to age. You could chalk that up to, maybe a mindset, babying it.
Just
So
PTSD.
yeah, and so you have to wonder: is Bill gonna want to go to a team who's only gonna have top 20 quarterback, old man Rodgers for maybe the next year or two? So that's gonna be a key factor. I think for any head coaching job, especially for those like high tier, high caliber coaches like a Jim Harbaugh last year, Bill Belichick this year, they're gonna go to the situation that has the best quarterback.
Mhm.
Jim went to Justin in the Chargers. Maybe Bill going in 1 year with Rodgers and then having to make a move for a veteran, or maybe picking a rookie coming out of 26. We'll see. But and I also wouldn't be surprised, 'cause a lot of time when you see a head coach get fired, right? You kind of go with the opposite of what that coach was. So Robert Saleh, defensive minded, former defense coordinator. Do they go for the young guys like Ben Johnson in Detroit? My boy Bobby Dalbeck in
Bobby Slowick.
Bobby Slowick in Houston. Like, do they go with the young blood there? We'll see.
I was even thinking, I mean, look at what this guy's doing for Jaden Daniels. I'm looking at it as a Cliff Kingsbury kind of option there, because like you said, I do see a lot of teams that go from one side of the ball. Okay, well, that side's great. Let's try to get our offense better.
Yeah.
So I actually think Cliff, after this year, if he's interested, he does like a mobile quarterback though.
That's
He had Kyler in Arizona, and now he's got Jaden Daniels in Washington. So who knows? Maybe it's not a great fit for him, but I think you certainly got to hit up his phone when the season rolls around.
Yeah.
It's going to need to be an adjustment for whoever comes in, because like you were saying, Rodgers, when he was younger, was the type of player that liked to extend the play. He was very good, sneakily very good on with his legs.
Mhm.
Could avoid sacks like crazy. That's not really Aaron Rodgers now. It can't be. Age has a factor in it. His injury has a factor in it. I think that he would benefit from any coach, whether it's Bill, it's really going to come down to the offense coordinator. Now, if you get someone like Cliff, obviously he would do both, but Bill won't. He just needs a coordinator that isn't going to try to play like they have Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay.
You got to know your weapons.
I think
Mhm.
that what they need to do is, whether it's Bill, whether it's Cliff would have to make the adjustment. Bill would have to hire someone like that. They have to get a coordinator that basically does what they did with Tom towards the end of the year, toward the end of his time in New England. Is you're elite at reading through the defense's disguise, reading their weakness, get us to the play that's going to work, but this ball is going to be out of your hands in 2 seconds. And get it to those guys. They have amazing playmakers. Brees Hall out of the backfield. They have their rookie, like 20-year-old, Braylon Allen, out in the backfield too. They have Garrett Wilson. I mean, if they were to even go in the offseason, if he's available and wants to, go get Devonta to bring him back to Aaron. If that was something that happened. Or you can just, Mike Williams obviously isn't, you got to hold on to guys.
Yeah.
But you have these playmakers, these guys that you can get the ball quick to, and it almost looks like the Jets right now are playing like they have Rodgers from Green Bay. They desperately need somebody that needs to get the ball out of his hands quick, but use him for what he's always been elite at, which is getting people to jump off sides with his cadence and reading defenses and knowing exactly what they're in, knowing exactly what's going to look against it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if Aaron doesn't want someone, that they're not going to be the head coach there. So you got to get the approval of the owner, whoever the GM is, and Aaron Rodgers to be the head coach there.
I think that's just not an Aaron Rodgers thing, though. I think that's if you have like a well-established quarterback, I think that's almost how it is for any.
I think I wouldn't agree. I would think, like, look at Jared Goff, who's been in Detroit for 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
If Dan Campbell were to get fired or go somewhere, I don't think they're going to take as much of Jared Goff's opinion as they would Aaron Rodgers.
No, I think you're right, but I was more talking about like when you're starting to build your Mount Rushmore top 10 quarterbacks of all time. I feel like those guys, which Aaron is in that conversation for sure. I'd say that like if you're talking about someone like Brady, Manning, obviously maybe it would be a bad business decision if God dang it, Big Red, Andy Reid. Jesus Christ, I'm locked in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm locked in right now. If Andy Reid were to ever retire or not, he wouldn't leave for another job, but retire.
Yeah.
I think it would be a bad business decision if they didn't get Mahomes' opinion on a head coach. I think when you're talking about those elite guys, the pinnacle of the sport, you do want and should have their opinion on who you hire. But of someone like Jared Goff or something like that, or someone that's not quite there yet, I agree with you. I don't think you should get their opinion because that's somebody that might just be with your team for the next.
Yeah, but you also have to look at it like that could be a negative as well. Because look at Nathaniel Hackett. He only got that job because he was Aaron Rodgers' boy.
Yeah, he had it before, right? Or no?
No, he got hired the year they signed.
Well, I know he was the OC Green Bay, and then
He got hired the year they got Rodgers, right? So it was all like you just took this guy that only coached 14 games for the Broncos, got canned, and now you want him to run the offense. Obviously, it's because Aaron Rodgers is there, right? And then now look at the offense and what they have yet to do this season. There's a reason why he got relieved of his play calling duties.
Yeah.
So in some cases, maybe GMs just need to be GMs and figure out what's good for the team as a whole, and not just your 40-year-old quarterback.
And by the way, real quick, since we're just talking about the Jets, hey, Indianapolis, I understand Gus Bradley's been there for a long time. Been there a long time. This offseason, he shouldn't be there anymore. Robert Saleh is available. We live in Los Angeles, California.
That is true.
I will fly wherever Robert Saleh is, help him pack his bags, and get him a first-class ticket to Indianapolis to be the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. I think someone like that, he's not going to have especially when what he was in San Francisco, and even what that Jets defense was, even though they didn't win games, what that Jets defense was even last year, or at this year, at the beginning of this year, I'm sure once everybody learned that he got fired, his phone rang quite a few times. Hey, are you thinking about coming back this year or maybe next year? When you ready to come back, because I want you as
he'll get a job next year somewhere. I think he's gonna enjoy sitting on the couch watching football, getting paid.
making 20K, baby. Oh, it's more than 20K. It's got to be.
It's like 20K and some change a day. I'm making it.
Oh,
Yeah, and
by the way,
over the next 2 years.
with the way they've been playing defensively, he might make a return.
That's where my head was at.
With the way their defense has been, their defense cannot play in the fourth quarter.
That'd be crazy.
Or in the second half. It's the second half that they're just terrible. And I mean, they even kind of did it last night.
Yeah.
That game was tucked away. Everybody did what they needed to do. Second half, here come the Seahawks. Now I understand, the Seahawks did have a special teams great kick return, but still, the Seahawks were able to move the ball better in the second half. I don't know what it is where they can't play. They don't make any adjustments, maybe at halftime or something. But Bob Saleh can, and he's proven it certainly defensively. And there's a lot of people that aren't, chalked up to be head coaches that are great coordinators. I mean, you could even you brought him up, but you could even say that about someone like Cliff Kingsbury, where it didn't work in Arizona, but it's obviously working in Washington.
Yeah.
Or I mean, we haven't really seen it yet. Even someone like Artie Smith, maybe when they get Russ cooking on it, the offense might look a little bit better, and you could say that about him too. So I think some people are just meant more to be coordinators. It's a lot of job. It's a lot of work being the head coach of the team. You got to worry about a shit ton more. So maybe Robert Saleh, I'm sure if he performs the way he did with the 49ers defense with any other team or the 49ers. There will be some want for him to be a head coach again, but I think it'd be a smart decision by him to just be. I mean, shit, you still get paid real good as a coordinator. I think it'd be a lot less stress on him. I think it'd be smart for him to just stay there for quite a while.
I agree.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and take a trip to a different sport. We just watched right before we started this. We just watched the Dodgers close out at home against the San Diego Padres, 2-0.
Yep.
We're gonna go ahead. We're actually let's go ahead and start with a little bit of a recap of some of the stuff that's already gone.
Yeah.
The NL's decided, the AL gets decided tomorrow. The Yankees are for sure in.
Yep.
So AJ, as well, I would say enthusiastic baseball watcher, but unfortunately, the TV support.
It's been tough the last couple of years.
The TV support.
Please.
Listen, I'm not giving you any breaks with the shit you said before we started.
I don't ask for a lot, but
I don't.
a healthy season for this man.
Well, I'll ask.
Is all I ask for.
Because I saw a lot. These are, But let's go ahead and let's recap. Let's go ahead and talk about the game that just ended. Not just the game, but the entire series. The San Diego Padres. My bad. The San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you were able to catch of all that, of the entire series, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to catch too much of it, just at work. But yeah, for what I did see, I mean, you Darvish, you can't ask for much more than that. Almost going 7 full innings, and
Right.
He started game 2, I think.
Was it game 2 or game 1?
2.
Terrible. Oh wow.
Okay. Well, good enough rest. And when it comes to playoff time, if you got at least 3 days, I think you're good to go.
Smoke them if you got them.
You see,
You're riding that adrenaline anyway. Your arm's gonna feel great. But I mean, it's almost 7 innings of 2. I mean, really, just 2 mistakes.
Yeah.
Just 2 mistakes. One to kick.
Gross.
Hey, Oscar will get you.
Yeah,
But
Still gross.
that's about all he's got left in his game is just to get one every once in a while. But I think if you're the Padres, you just look at it and shut out the last 2 games. I mean,
One at home.
what a fall off for them. Just, I mean, you're riding this hot streak. You're feeling great. 2-1. You get the chance to close it out at home, game 4, and
bullpen game for the Dodgers.
well, yeah, bullpen game. But I mean, ultimately, their game became a bullpen game with Dylan Cease getting pulled in the 2nd inning.
That's true.
And then, just getting blown out 8-0, you're like, okay, game 5, we won there before, we know what to expect. And I mean, just to come out with another goose,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just for the way your season ended like that. And I know Tatis went 0-4 tonight again. But I mean, just when you ride such a high in the playoffs, especially, you need those special moments, and Kike and Teoscar were able to deliver tonight.
I think that you did say that Tatis went 0-4.
Yeah.
I still would say that he's the superstar of the team. They have a lot of superstars, but he is the superstar of the team. He almost did what you asked him. I mean, he produced the first 3 games. They didn't win one of them, but he produced the first 3 games. Somebody else has got to step up.
Yeah.
You're looking at someone like Dylan Cease, who you brought over to be the guy. Now, he's not really their guy. Joe Musgrove sucks what happened to him with the torn UCL.
Yeah.
You would say maybe the series goes a little bit different if he's in, maybe it doesn't. But you need someone like Dylan Cease to step up in that moment. And unfortunately for Dylan Cease, I'm not sure if the lights were too bright or what, but it just didn't happen for him. I don't think anybody should blame Fernando Tatis. It's not Fernando Tatis. I understand you went 0-4, but it's not Fernando Tatis' fault that they still only got 2 hits the entire game. I think, personally, the Padres ride this roller coaster. And if you could get them, that this roller coaster will infinitely go. If they're feeling it and they have the mojo going, that it will go to space. It'll go to infinity. But if you can get them,
Once they run out of that gas, then
get them to come over the peak, there's no juice. You got to play in an elimination game, you got to play like it's the last game you're ever going to play. And you just don't see that from them. You look over in their dugout, and they're all sitting down.
That's I mean that's what I was gonna say. They just look mentally defeated today.
Mentally defeated, and it was
a 1-run ball game until the 7th.
Hit the home run, and then they pan over to the dugout, the Padres dugout, in like the 5th and 6th, and they look like they were already planning on where they were going to go to vacation.
Yeah,
it's a 1-run game. You're telling yourself what? Kike hit that home run the second inning. You're telling the second or third.
Early
Early home run.
Yeah.
Here I got it right here. Actually, he hit that home run. I don't hide it.
He did it
third, a second.
Yeah, okay, not bad.
So he hit that home run the second. That's 1 run.
Yeah.
This is if you've seen the way these playoffs have gone,
A lot of ball game left.
1 run doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Shit, it seems like if you're watching some of these games, 3 runs doesn't mean much. With the way these guys kind of turn it on.
Yeah.
So there needs to be that juice. This is an elimination game. I understand you missed your opportunity with a bullpen game. You got shut out, and maybe the vibes aren't super high, but someone's got to do something.
Yeah.
Someone's got to step up. There was no big hits. There was no nothing. They almost they looked like they lost once Kike put that ball over the fence. It looked like there was no coming back. But it's a totally different game if they score first, I think, because they get that mojo back. But if you can put out that fire, I think it's over. I think they just mentally defeat themselves.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it comes down to, after the Kike home run, obviously, can you answer back? Can you put through productive ABs? And it showed throughout the entire game they couldn't do that.
And also, I believe they were either 1 or 2 in the hardest teams for a pitcher to strike out all year. They didn't strike out at all. Now, that means you're putting in productive ABs. You're at least going deeper into counts because you're not only seeing 3 pitches, you're not striking out. Now, there is a downside to that. You could get like a 2-pitch at bat, whatever. You're putting the ball in play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'll pull this up right here. I'm a little curious. They struck out 7 times. Now, would you say that's a lot for a team like that?
Over the span of a whole game?
Over the span of a whole game.
I don't know.
That's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're looking at these like in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. They struck out. Let's see. Kopech struck out 1. Vestia struck out 1. Phillips struck out 3. Phillips only worked an inning and a half. So you look at the 6th inning on, they struck out 5 times. I think they struck out on terrible pitches all 5 times. I understand it's the MLB. It's hard to stay patient. It's hard. These pitchers are really good. But we got to get some quality at bats. We got to get some guys on base, whether it's you walk, whether it's you. Like for the last inning, for example, they had the 9-hitter, the 1-hitter, and then Tatis, who has an OPS in the postseason of 1.5.
Video game numbers.
Yeah, 1,500. You have to get at least one person on to put him in that situation.
Yeah.
Because the way the Dodgers look at it, and I'm sure they were talking about this in the dugout, is you get those first 2 guys out, who gives a shit if Tatis hits a home run? 2-1. We don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put Tatis in that situation, I'm not saying he goes yard, but you have to get your best hitter in that situation. You have to get the quality at bats to do it. Now, Arise didn't have a terrible at bat. It was a good one. It worked a full count, ended up popping up. Shit happens. But someone's got to get on base. Arise hit over 300 in the regular season. I think he had 3 hits the entire playoffs.
Was it pretty?
Someone's got to step up, and it can't just be Tatis. I think that's ultimately why they fell short. You can't blame that bullpen either. I mean, I know they gave up a lot of runs in Game 4, but
I mean,
that's stacked.
At the end of the day, Padres are out.
They are.
And now, we have to sadly watch the Dodgers go to another. What are the conference?
NLCS.
That.
National League Championship Series.
And they play.
Gotten to baseball. He's been named.
And they play your boys right there. The METS Mets.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, cover that up. There you go. Let's get a little preview of that. AJ, what do you think about Mets versus?
be back in just a little bit. I'm gonna get up. All right, because of the shit he was saying beforehand. I can't stand.
Well, he's gonna repeat it now. We'll see.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, look at here, Mets fans. The Cinderella story ends in the championship series. All right, I think you can only ride this high for so long. And if I'm the Dodgers, let's see Lindor. He gets up, fuck it, walk him, because that's the only guy doing something nowadays. So
And
I'm
I'm 450.
give me that. Pete his ass.
Let him cook.
Vientos his ass.
No ball. Zero
This team is riding the highest of highs right now after beating the Phillies.
So they're gonna come back down to earth.
Yes, clearly they're going to come back down. I think when you look at the Dodgers, the only team that was really going to give them a threat in the National League was the Padres. Those in-division games we saw last year, they struggled with them. And I think once you get outside of the division games, which is, you looked at it from the outside and you said, hey, the Phillies are probably going to whoop the Mets. I knew it was going to be a tough series for them. Those in-division series are no joke. That team just as good as the other teams in the division. But once it gets outside of that, it's a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think all that steam that they're carrying throughout, they beat the Braves in division. They beat the Phillies in division. They beat the Brewers. Oh, the Brewers. My bad.
They beat the Braves thing was to get.
Yeah, my bad. That's where I was being mixed. But I think once you beat the Phillies, that's that high that.
I think AJ's cooking a little bit.
I don't even know who they fucking beat.
I'll give the Mets one game. All right, I'll be happy enough to give them one game. Dodgers in 5.
Dodgers in 5. Wow, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, guys. So we're gonna. I'm sorry to do this to you, right now.
Good.
Okay.
I need you to cook.
I hope our editor is ready with the bleep button.
No, there is no bleep button. This isn't for fucking kids. Let's go ahead and start here. Francisco Lindor is the only person to produce for that team.
Yeah.
Apparently, you didn't watch any of the games because Vientos has been the best hitter on that team in the postseason. I don't know if you missed the fact that he hit 7 or 8 extra base hits against that Phillies team.
Mm-hmm.
How many games did they play? 4? Or 7? Or 7 to 8 extra base hits in 4 games good?
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I thought so. How about the strongest part of the Mets, their starting rotation? Now, I understand when you say these names in the years prior, you'd say that's kind of gross. Now, you wouldn't say that's kind of gross to Kodai Senga.
That's kind of gross. It's kind of gross.
Because you don't know ball at all. You didn't even know what the NLCS was.
Sorry.
I do, and in all honesty,
You pissed him off.
it sucks. But you would say it's kind of gross saying David Peterson, but injuries is a problem with him in the years past. He's been shown flashes. You would say gross to Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana.
Yep.
Severino's kind of in the same boat as Peterson. He's been hurt the past few years. He was decent for the Yankees. Got that injury bug. I will say the one thing that worries me, I don't know if he'll be able to correct it, is Edwin Diaz. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to come up here and say that the Mets are for sure going to win the series. I don't think the Mets win in 5. I honestly was told and prepared for the Mets to go all 5 with the Phillies and probably lose. Now, this is where you kind of, get me off guard here. Because I don't know if you know this, but from the 7th hole, the 8th hole, and the 9th hole, do you know who had the most runs driven in during the regular season from those? Here, I'll answer for you. It's the Mets. You said the hot wave that they've been on.
Yeah.
Like it's been the last week. They've been the best team in baseball since July. I don't know if you know that, but we're in October.
Record, yes.
So if you go January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So you go July, August, September, and October.
Okay.
So when does this go from being, they're really hot to, oh shit, actually, you know what? The Mets are, now they didn't start well, but the Mets actually might have figured out they might be good. I mean, there's only 2 teams in the NL left. They're obviously good. Obviously good.
The riding the wave, the playoff wave.
Momentum's a real thing.
It is.
Momentum's a real thing.
I'm just saying it can only take you so far, and I think this is where that stop ends.
And when you meet the Dodgers, might be a reality check.
The other thing I have, the Mets obviously beat up on pitching. The Mets scored 7 in the first game against the Phillies. They scored 6 in the second game against the Phillies. They scored 7 in the third game against the Phillies. And then they scored 4, all thank you to Francisco Lindor. The Mets also have an OPS of 1,700, I think, in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning. Now, you're, like we said earlier, you're a baseball fan, right? Cool. What's a good OPS? 800, 900?
Yeah, I would say so.
So 1,700 is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making.
Okay. But can we get back to? I didn't get this idea that look at the Dodgers bullpen the last 2 games. We saw what they did again in Game 4, going the whole stretch with giving up no runs to the Padres, and then look at what they did today, shutting the door on Game 5.
The Bird bullpen not good.
Look at what. I mean, you really only got Devin Williams, but let's be honest. That's besides the point. But the point that I'm trying to
they score their runs on.
okay, they didn't. Pete ran into one.
Yeah, 35 home runs that he ran into.
He ran into one.
How many home runs? How many home runs was the home run leader for the Angels this year?
That's besides the point. We're talking about the Mets and the Dodgers here.
Ran into one.
We're talking about the Mets and Dodgers. And look at the strongest point for the Dodgers right now. It's their bullpen. And I know you said from the 6th inning to the 9th that they have the best OPS of the postseason. But when you look at the Dodgers bullpen, it's been dominant. So I think if the pitching can get you there to the 6th, look at what the bullpen's been able to do.
That's fair, but
That's my argument.
But also, if you were to argue that way, do you think the Mets bullpen just takes us, or not bullpen, the Mets, yeah, their bullpen too, fuck it, except for Diaz. The Diaz doesn't even pitch that much. One of the problems Diaz has is he can't get into much of a rhythm because down the stretch, the Mets were either blowing teams out or losing.
Mhm.
So he didn't get that much work. So that's where some of his inconsistency, ever since he came back from injury, he hasn't gotten that premium closer work.
Yeah.
But are you just saying that the Mets pitching just forgets how to pitch? I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Because obviously, Shohei Ohtani,
Mhm.
elite hitter.
Right.
Right?
Mhm.
Well, are Shohei Ohtani's numbers good against lefties? I'm assuming they're pretty good.
They're not bad.
They're not bad. I'm assuming they're pretty crazy because it's Ohtani.
Yeah.
But you have Ohtani, Bex, Freeman, Teoscar. Will Smith did hit a home run during that series, but if we go off the regular season, Will Smith did down year. I think Will Smith is still an unbelievable catcher.
Right.
Flip over to someone like the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, good at baseball. Not Shohei Ohtani, but good at baseball.
Right.
Trey Turner, good at baseball. Bryce Harper, good at baseball.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos, he may not be good fielding, but he can hit the baseball. JT Realmuto, is he good? I don't know.
Usually good.
Well,
He wasn't great in the playoffs, but
usually they play.
if we're the Mets, hey, I told you when you play division games, our division matchups, I feel like statistics just goes out the window.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
But I'm a little confused on how you look at someone like how hot the Mets are and the Dodgers, who obviously were hot enough to get by the Padres, where you get this game like tonight.
Yeah.
You get this game like tonight, where by the 5th inning, that game was over.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, Padres looked defeated, or maybe I just said earlier, but the Padres looked defeated. They didn't look like they were coming back. That's not what you're going to get with the Mets.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Mets are going to win in 4, the Mets are going to win 5, the Mets are going to win 6. I'm not saying the Mets are going to win.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that this is the AL. If the Tigers win tomorrow, in my opinion, if the Tigers win tomorrow, it's kind of pointing that direction because Scooble's dog.
Yes.
If the Yankees or the Tigers, because the Tigers look good, their pitching can get that series done quick, they're going to be licking their chops at the fact that I think this game is going to be a dogfight, or this series is going to be a dogfight. I don't think this is going to be a 4-0 Dodgers where the Dodgers just clean shop and make the Mets look like a minor league baseball team. I don't think this is going to be 4-1 and the Dodgers make the Mets look like a minor league baseball team. In my total opinion, I don't think this is going to be. This is going to be a 4-2 where every game is hard fought. no matter which one wins, the Dodgers or the Mets, this is either going to be a 4-2 or 4-3 series. I don't think you're going to see Game 6 and Game 7 in this series. I think that it stacks up that way. The Mets are almost the opposite of the Padres. They're completely resilient. They have a lot of momentum, but there's been times where that momentum has dropped. I mean, look at the Mets were losing to the Braves, right? They made an outstanding comeback, took the game, took the lead by 3, gave it all back up, and then Lindor saved it. But that's your team. That's the thing that I was talking about with the Padres, where you got to get a guy on for your guy.
Yeah.
The Mets did.
Hey, they did.
And Lindor has to just, it's Francisco Lindor. I mean, I don't want to say it's normal because he's not like this super power hitter. He's a shortstop, but it's just kind of what he's been doing. So I think that it just lines up really well. You got the Dodgers, who I think in almost every single game will come out to will lead first. But the Mets are 4-0 while trailing in playoff games this year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I think you could see some of that in this. I think you're going to see a lot of early Dodgers leads where the Mets fight back. And I'm almost certain in saying that the games that the Mets do win, the Dodgers are leading at the beginning and even into the 5th and 6th. You know, I joked around in our group chat. I said that in the Mets offense doesn't wake up until the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But it doesn't. Yeah. Sometimes. Or they just blast the Phillies for 8 runs in like the 5th, and then that's it. I don't know. I just don't see it being a quick, easy series where you just wipe away the Mets like they weren't even there, and the Dodgers throw into almost fully rested in the World Series.
But I'm hoping that's not the case. Well, as far as, it being a breeze, but I mean, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a fun series. Obviously I think the Dodgers are gonna win, but that doesn't mean that these games are gonna be entertaining. So that's just my take.
It sounded like it 4-1. Sounded like it. All right, we're gonna go off that. Let's go to, I don't know if we really want to talk about the Royals and Yankees series too much. I didn't catch most of it because I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't working. I wasn't watching Mets. I just wasn't attracted to that series. Bob Costas caught a lot of heat for the way he was on the game. I love baseball. I've watched every single inning, obviously, of the Mets Phillies. I watched every single inning of the Padres Dodgers. I watched every single inning of the Tigers and Guardians. Okay. It could have been the only fucking thing on, and I wasn't turning that thing on. Yeah. Maybe for some of that, and maybe it's just because I hate New York, but I hate the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys can, but I can't give like a wrap of what that series looked like.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of just Bobby Witt struggling, to be honest. And I think similarly, like kind of with the Mets, you see a lot of Lindor carrying. I think the same thing was going with the Royals, because the pitching wasn't bad for them. A lot of low-scoring games, and the offense just couldn't get going. You had contributors coming from like, what's his name, Massey. I can't remember his first name, but just random guys having hits here, and Garrett Hampson even having a couple good games. But those are guys that are singles, maybe doubles here and there, but they're not going to get you that long ball like we saw Stanton. Ultimately that won him a game. So I think you need some of those guys with the power to really step up sometimes. And I just don't think the Royals had it. And Garrett Cole put him away.
He did. So that's the first time I've seen Garrett Cole dominate. I don't know why I ended up seeing Garrett Cole dominate all that much recently. But he looked really good. He looked like old Garrett Cole when he won that Cy Young with the Yankees and when he won that Cy Young with the Astros. He looked good. You have any comments on that game, or?
Didn't watch a lick of it.
I don't blame you. I don't want to fully put the blame on Bob Costas because I feel like that's a different generation type thing. It made me almost think, and God, I hope not. But this is a question before we go into a little bit of a preview. We've been talking about baseball, but even before we go into the preview of tomorrow's elimination game, real quick, just a quick one. Do you think with the way that people were getting mad at Bob Costas, do you think the modern fan would enjoy Vin Scully calling baseball games.
I think for me personally, he just made watching games so fun with the little. I mean, that guy could have wrote thousands of pages with the stories he had in his mind. So I think even when a game wasn't, let's say, great, like probably the Royals one and the Yankees games, they weren't great. As far as entertainment wise, you didn't get any 8-0 wins or 10-2 ball games like the Padres and Dodgers. But even when the action wasn't great, you always had a good story with Vin. So I think for me, he's in his own, his own light. He's the best to ever do it. And I think Bob is just, especially with this younger group, I feel like the ones that are watching baseball, you need that excitement, that little that yelling, like that Joe Buck will give you. He's not. I don't think he's perfect, but he's gonna give you energy.
I don't mind Joe Buck. For baseball.
Yeah,
For baseball.
For football, he's terrible.
Yeah,
I hate Joe Buck.
Games with Joe Buck for football.
Yeah.
I will tell you if he's actually really good for multiple sports. I'll give my flowers to him because he stepped in some big shoes replacing Vince Scully. Joe Davis is not bad.
Is that the Dodger one?
Yeah. And he's also Fox's. He did the Dodgers Padres, and I believe he calls football games for Fox as well when baseball is done, if I'm not mistaken. But that was some big shoes, and I will agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I know I brought the question up, almost made it sound like I thought they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But there was just a way that Vince Scully presented the game.
Mm-hmm.
It literally, watching Vince Scully, I obviously, since I can remember, not since I can remember, but certainly since I was like 5 or 6, have despised the Dodgers. But I turn on a game to watch and listen to Vince Scully because it's literally like, well, there was no pitch clock back then, so it was like 3 to 4 hours of Vince Scully not only telling the game but telling you a story.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about a guy that lived from seeing, not Shohei Ohtani, unfortunately, but Mookie Betts on the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman on the Dodgers, to Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And
he was there when the color barrier was broken, and he was there until, I think he stopped, 5 years ago or something? Unfortunately passed away like 2 years ago.
I think it was the year before COVID that they were fully retired.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just, you sat down and you literally listened to maybe he is the best baseball announcer ever.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly in the top of sports announcers, but maybe the person that had the biggest article or archive in his mind of just baseball stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd be able to present it so well. He'd be able to tell a short story in between pitches. He'd be able to tell you this. I would have been a big fan of the fact that they didn't go to any ads during innings and just had Vince Scully talk.
Mm-hmm.
And also his voice was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd throw that out there because Bob Costas was catching some heat.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was.
It's a deep drive to left center field. The Yankees are gonna take the lead.
But my favorite was, and that single in the center field. What happened? And the color he caught it. Who caught it? The shortstop tried. It's like a little like 60 mile an hour blue that Volpe just took like 2 steps and just caught the ball.
Poor guy.
It was a poor guy. But all right, little quick thing here. We got a lot to talk about college football wise. A little quick thing here. How do you think this game tomorrow goes between the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers?
I think for me, you're just really hoping your ace can be your ace tomorrow. Tarek's taking the mound, and it's going to be a low-scoring game. Kind of like how the whole series has been with them. You're really going to need to see that scrappiness come from the Tigers because, I mean, it's not like where the Guardians got Boyd pitching tomorrow. I mean, I could probably see a short leash, let it be a bullpen game for them, and let them carry the rest of the way. But, you just got to hope that offense gets hot. For me, if I was a betting man, I kind of do this with football where I take the better quarterback if it's ever a 50-50 game. I got to go Tigers. I think you got your guy on the mound, and, I think he's going to lead them to the promised land.
I think this is going to look eerily similar to Game 2. School pitch or Game 1? 2. I think it's going to look eerily similar to Game 2. They lost that game, correct? Is it couldn't get any support? Yes. I think this is going to look eerily similar to Game 2. Sorry, we had to check with our fact checker over there. I just feel like eerily similar to game 2, where Scooble's going to throw 7, 8 innings, no runs, maybe a few hits, shit ton of Ks because he's a dog. But that Tigers lineup can't score. And I think, although the Tigers bullpen is really good, I see the bullpen bucking before the Tigers score. That's just me personally. I'm going to take the Guardians, but I do think that this is going to be a stamp. Even though he's probably not going to get the loss, but they are going to lose.
Yeah.
This is going to be a stamp on what an incredible season Terry Sewell had. Get him out of Detroit right now to a team at high market, like a certain team in New York that wears orange and blue. Give you Brett Beatty.
Oh yeah, he's killing it this offseason. All right, let's playoffs.
Hey, listen, dude. He hit 350 in AAA. Don't ask what he hit in the major leagues.
Not this season,
but he hit 350. Well, he got hurt, but don't ask what he hit in the major leagues. Just look at the AAA numbers. He's like Joe Adell before Joe Adell kind of figured it out.
Man,
That's a AAA. He's a AAA dog. All right.
AAA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he is. But I just see that happening.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight on this?
I mean, yeah, like AJ said, I'm just gonna go with the Cy Young winner. So I'll go with Tariq Skubal and the Detroit Tigers.
And that,
Spoiler for you.
that is, I do have one more question.
Okay.
Real quick. I know we talked a lot of baseball. I did wear this because I wanted to ask. Do you think there's Cy Young, a lot of people, Chris Sale. I think he came a 4K short of the Triple Crown. And that's because he got hurt in the game he was supposed to pitch against the Mets, but he had those back spasms. Do you think? And I'm not going to say he's going to win the Cy Young. He's certainly going to win Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think he's going to get votes? Do you think Falskins in his rookie year gets a shocking amount of Cy Young votes?
I mean, I wouldn't say a shocking amount. I think because Chris Sale's probably going to win the comeback player of the year as well. But for me, I think, what a great season Paul had. I wouldn't say it's going to be a close race, but I would say he's going to get a few.
I think he'll get a few. Like I said, I hate to say it because I knew it at the beginning of the year. Whenever anybody goes to Atlanta, they just kind of figure it out and they start being the best version of themselves again. But yeah, he had an unbelievable season. What happened at the end? Maybe we see the Braves playing the Dodgers in that DS, and maybe they played it a little bit different. Although the Padres are really good, the Dodgers kind of had a few hiccups against the Braves the last few in years past, but didn't get to see it happen. Mostly in part to the fact that Chris Sale got hurt at the inopportune. All right, we're gonna go back to a sport that we were talking about earlier, but at the collegiate level.
Yes.
There we go. English is a hard language, even though it's my first and only language.
There you go.
Let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and save the best for last. Everybody knows what that is.
Penn State, USC.
I don't think so.
Your boys are going to pull it off this weekend.
I think it's a revenge. We'll keep that one short. They're going to get Jerry Sandusky in the Coliseum. Okay, you go.
That's crazy. That's crazy because USC is going to hold it down at the Coliseum and defeat the Nittany Lions. Mark my words, you heard it here first.
Right.
12:30 p.m. You know where I'm going to be.
On your couch?
On my couch watching that game.
Is that when the game starts?
12:30 p.m.
And if they 12:30 p.m.
Eastern time.
And if they win
Pacific time.
All right.
If they win and they beat the Nittany Lions, what would you say that would be about 4 o'clock? 4:30?
What, the game is ending?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, close to 5.
All right, where will you be
for? Yeah.
Where will you be around 4:30?
Probably running up and down my street, just screaming and running.
Oh, that's better than I was going to say. You're going to be in your bathroom.
Okay. I wouldn't even take the short walk down the hall. I'll just do it right there. But no, that's gonna be if USC pulls that off. Obviously, you guys know I'm the relative USC homer, so I have no trouble talking about them. It's gonna be tough coming off of that loss in Minnesota to the Golden Gophers.
Hey, good ball club. Good ball club. I don't know who their quarterback is, but he can spin it.
Oh man, it's gonna come down to if we can stop the run, and if we can be a 4-quarter football team and not a second half football team. So we'll see. I feel like this season the Coliseum has been kind of a really relatively good home crowd, home field. So let's see if that takes if we have any advantage from that. But we'll see. We'll see if we can upset number 4.
I just want to say, how the hell did they go to number 4? Yes, we had some upsets last
A
week.
lot of losses, bro, and they're
Wait,
defeated.
they jumped from the 8th seed to the 4th?
Yeah,
A lot.
but
pretty crazy.
and also the AP polls garbage. AP polls garbage.
Yeah,
Yeah, because how do you not have USC ranked?
but like you gotta understand. You gotta.
So I think the Bruins have won maybe 1 game, maybe 2.
John Foster,
save their season.
get your ass out of
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it's custom. I know you gotta have some players.
Their schedule is absolutely brutal.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's the Big Ten, baby.
We're over here losing to freaking Minnesota.
You gotta beat those. Oh, I will say though, the Big Ten games so far this year, or maybe it's just games in general. I don't know if I saw the stat correctly. You were right. It is key for the USC Trojans to stop the run. I do believe that teams are averaging 190 on the ground.
That's not fair though, because Michigan
Against
alone had 250.
Mm.
We've only played 3 conference games. I mean,
How many conference wins do you guys have?
1. We beat Wisconsin at home. So yeah, in LA, and the week right before we lost to Minnesota. So you would think, saying at 3-1, you're gonna go to Minnesota, have a nice comfortable win, stay healthy, get ready for the banger game, top 10 matchup. Instead, sitting at 3-2, unranked, all hopes of playoff contention lost.
Playing for the draft, baby. Wait, is there a draft?
We're playing for pride now. We're playing for pride. We'll see though.
They don't got much.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was a rude awakening for the Trojans, at least to start this. I will say, you did say that all playoff hopes are gone, right?
Close. Very close.
It's close. It's close. They're certainly going to have to win out. But, I mean, they do have some tougher games that could propel them back. Like, obviously, I would assume, even though they were 4-2, if they were to beat Penn State, they would go back to being ranked.
Yeah, I would say so. Top 14. Yeah, for sure.
I'd at least assume so. You play Maryland, gotta have that. You play Rutgers,
Be at that game. We'll see you there. October 25th. Gotta have that.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, gotta
Oh, there you go.
represent. I'd always
Play Washington, then obviously wasn't the Washington of the past.
Mm-hmm.
no Michael Penis there.
No Michael Penis.
So,
You play Nebraska. Nebraska, pretty good ball club.
Beatable.
And I will tell you, you're probably gonna kick the doors off of good old UCLA.
see
Oh,
what happens that week.
I will tell you, if they can win all those out, it will come down. I think the last game they play, obviously the biggest rivalry they have with Notre Dame, it might come down to the fact that if they beat Notre Dame, they could backdoor it.
yeah, for sure. That going 10-2, maybe 3rd in the Big Ten, 4th in the Big Ten. You'd like to think that we get that 12th spot. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fighting an uphill battle because to have USC, who is clearly a flawed team, try to go perfect the next 9 games or 8 games, it's gonna be really tough. I don't know. I think for sure 9-3, you're not getting it. For sure, we're playing the Holiday Bowl again.
Yeah.
Maybe even the Pop-Tart Bowl. But
That's an elite bowl. That's where North Carolina's resided.
man,
In our dynasty and
college football, yes. Yeah, so it's gonna be a tough battle, but hey, no better way to start the spark than beating Penn State at home. So we'll see.
I mean, it could be the catalyst, but you got to win that first.
Yeah.
Gotta win that. All right, there is another game I want to talk about. Quinn Ewers is back just in time for the Red River rivalry with Oklahoma. I'm interested to get your takes on what you think that game will look like, and if now it's not a home game for either team. I believe they play in the Cotton Bowl every single time. I believe. I could be wrong. Actually, I'll tell you right now. They played in the Cotton Bowl every single time.
Okay.
But I'm interested to first get your take on the game. But also, if Quinn Ewers comes out a little slow, do you think you catch some Texas fans saying, "Hey,
When you
Manning on the bench"?
when you have two starting caliber quarterbacks just at your disposal, you're always gonna get that
Wrong.
you're never gonna get one right. Quinn Ewers coming off of injury, obviously. We'll see if he can pick up what he started. But personally, I think it's a mistake. I think you roll with Arch Manning. Obviously a true freshman, but he's been hot.
I thought if he was there last year, he redshirted.
Did he? He's a freshman, redshirt or true. But yeah, I think that you go with the hot hand. You go with the guy that's brought you there the last couple weeks. I think it's just more exciting to see what he could do there. But I think either way, if Quinn Ewers starts, Arch Manning starts, I think Texas wins.
I think Texas is a powerhouse.
Yep.
They're ranked number one for a reason. They weren't ranked for number one for a little bit. Now Alabama lost.
Yeah.
In fact, Texas.
Wow.
They're the true, in my opinion, they're the true. They have that good mix of SEC football where they're fast and big. And it don't matter if one of their quarterbacks gets hurt. Oh, by the way, Quinn Ewers goes down with another injury. Oh, don't worry, we're only bringing in a Manning.
Yeah.
Or if they were to flip the switch and start Manning, no, they're not going to. They've already announced that it's Ewers. But in an instance where Manning does start and he gets hurt, oh, we're just bringing in a dude that was favored to win the Heisman before the year. So,
Yeah.
So it's no matter which way you go. So you have any takes on that, Aiden, of this game?
I think Texas, the only team to really not slip up so far this season. I mean, this is what you sat Quinn for. You know, you waited till he got fully healthy. Now, like you said, if you do see him struggle a little bit, you're gonna have those questions of let's get Arch in there. I think you play it safe and you keep him in there. You gotta ride it because then you're gonna have a divided locker room, and you gotta ride it out with Quinn. If he's healthy, you let him ride it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they'll do, and I do think they'll win this game. But yeah, you need Quinn, or I guess for himself even, you got to see him play well. So
For sure.
All right, let's go to another game. I love the conference realignment. That's because you get a whole lot of unbelievable games every single week almost. Let's go Ole Miss playing in Death Valley with LSU.
Right.
You got any opinions on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I got Ole Miss winning this. You know me, I'm a believer in Jackson Dart. I think he could get the job done. It's gonna be a hell of a. I mean, look at this. Look at the week that we have, the Saturday that we have of college football games. If you're doing anything but watching college football, then what the fuck are you doing?
Marky. Sorry, that's what I'll be doing.
Well, why are you being responsible?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Saturdays off.
yeah. I also have Saturday off, so I'm gonna be watching college football all day. But yeah, I got Ole Miss and Jackson Dart. I think it's gonna be a shootout. Gonna be a big test to do it in Death Valley, but I think they got it.
Death Valley always brings it. Doesn't matter if LSU suck or if LSU are really good.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable there every single time. I think Ole Miss wins as well. But I think this is going to be one of those rare instances. Nah, I guess it's not so rare for the top preview teams to do it, but this is going to be a one-score college football game, and you'll get a whole lot of those.
Yeah,
Anything on that?
sure. No, for me, as just a fan of the conference, I love seeing SEC teams go at it with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is just an all-out war. Like, these guys,
It's going to cannibalize itself.
yeah, it's going to be an electric environment. And I do think Ole Miss wins, but I'm there for the spectacle. So for me, it's going to be entertaining regardless who wins.
All right, before we jump to the headliner game, I want to get just your opinion, 2 more games, but we're going to make these ones quick because we're really only going to talk about these because they are, I would say without a doubt now, even though Cam Ward put on a show in that second half in California against Berkeley, really realistically only the fourth quarter. But you would argue now that with an outside chance from Cam, that the 2 Heisman favorites, I guess some would say, allegedly, Ashton Genty is a Heisman favorite. But let's talk about the game real quick. Kansas State going to Boulder and playing Colorado, where Travis Hunter is doing it at both sides at an elite level. I believe he has 6 touchdowns and 2 picks, averages about 100 to 110 yards a game offensive. I don't know if you want to go in the direction of talking just about Travis. We kind of did that, or if you want to talk about this game. But what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to if they can run the ball like they've been doing the last couple of weeks. They struggled the first. Yeah, they struggled the first couple of weeks running the ball. It seems like, primetime Dion, he got that team kind of, hey, we can win a couple of these games, especially in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Big Ten, is offensive heavy. Games are finishing 35-38, 52-55. So it's going to come down to if they can establish the run. And if they can, that only opens up the play action game and the passing game. I think number 16 Kansas State coming into Colorado, it's going to be a lot closer of a game than people think. I have Kansas State with the upset though.
Is it an upset though?
Because they're
I would say so. I would say
it certainly is.
I would say it's an upset just because they're going into Colorado and playing out Colorado, and obviously you have Shador and Travis Hunter for Colorado. Technically, on paper it's not an upset, but I still think it is. So I'll take Kansas State.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, since he's called out the O-line, they've really stepped it up.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're gonna have to do it again. I do think Kansas State wins. We'll see. I don't really know as far as maybe you got to double team him because it certainly doesn't matter who's on him.
Travis Hunter is gonna eat no matter.
But yeah, I mean, this guy's he's ridiculous.
But I mean, it's incredible because if somehow, some way, he doesn't beat you offensively. Oh, look at that! He has the chance to beat you defensively.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that he's an incredible player, and I don't think it's going to be enough to get the win over Kansas State. I think Kansas State does win, obviously, but I think it's just going to be another weekend where we sit back and be like, "Damn, I'd really like Travis Hunter to play for my favorite NFL team." So now, if you are going to be able to say that, because I don't think sitting at this table, there's only one team that has a chance to get anywhere close to that pick. I don't think that the Colts would ever get close to that pick. I hope they win more than like 5 games. But someone's certainly going to be very happy that Travis Hunter is available when their team is going up to the podium to draft.
For sure.
The other game I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about this because I want to give out a little bit of a gambling warning. We have number 17, Boise State, playing Hawaii. Oof. And this is the gambling warning we're going to give. There's going to be a line, 2 lines. One's going to be Ashton Genty's rushing total, and one's going to be Ashton Genty's touchdown total. If you're going to bet on this game, please, for the love of God, don't bet on his yards. His yards is going to be about 180, which is unreal that his line
That might be
over under is 180. I can actually bring it up while I talk here. But that his line is going to be like somewhere around 180. But this is guy, Ashton Genty, running for 170 yards, 3 tuds in the first half, and then him not seeing the field in the second half. Like, it's already been twice, and the dude's got something like 20 touchdowns or something like that. I could give you his.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Give the stat.
It's got 95 carries for 1,031 yards and just on the ground alone has 16 touchdowns.
I don't know if he catches the ball that much.
And mind you, in 5 games,
He sent out
2 of those games, he only played one half of football.
He's played 4 full games.
He's played 4.
I mean, he's gonna absolutely run all over Honolulu. It is gonna be unfair for them. Yeah,
on all the islands.
yeah, he's gonna run from Honolulu to Maui. It's gonna be ridiculous. Probably unfair.
So
I
his line is 183.5.
smash the over. Smash
Give me
it.
that.
Smash it.
How many is he only going to play a half?
Yeah,
I
that's
love
true.
the things on social media where they say he stands back there like Michael Myers.
He's so nonchalant. I've never seen anyone just stand back there so casually and then freaking run for 1,000 yards in 5 games.
He's averaging more than a first down on each carry.
It's disgusting.
You can't tackle him. He has the whole way speed.
Oh, sue us for making him the Heisman favorite.
Well,
but
someone wanted to sue us.
yeah,
That's for sure.
I mean, that stat alone, think about it. He's averaging more than 10 yards a carry.
gross.
That is not even.
we need a first down. Give it to him.
You can give it a 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
It'll get to this high percentage play right there.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I saw a tweet that said, "Imagine if Ashton Genty and Cam Ward were in the same backfield, and how much like this composure there is back there." It's on the fact that he just stands there and he's looking, and everybody just knows.
Yeah.
He's
just picking his victims back there.
I mean, dude, he just bounces off tackles. It's incredible when you're getting, like I said last week, when you're getting compared to Barry Sanders. Now, a lot of people are saying Barry Sanders did in the SEC. Barry Sanders did do it in the SEC. There's a difference between comparing and saying that you're better than. Barry Sanders also had very, very good, I don't know if you know this, but Barry Sanders also had a very, very good NFL career.
Oh, man.
But there is a difference. But he also did have an incredible game against Oregon. And I do really hope, and it looks like it because they'd have a light skid. I do really hope that they get into the playoff.
Yeah.
Because I want to see, and ultimately I want Ashton Genty to kind of shut up those haters that say that he's only doing against these kind of bottom feeder teams because he's a
Mountain West team.
I don't think
Yeah.
it matters who it is, dude. It's just the qualities that he has. It doesn't matter. All right, we've delayed long enough.
It is.
How about we're in week 6? Is it week 6?
This is week 6.
Week 6, and we have 2 playing 3.
Yep. Number 2 Ohio State going to Eugene, Oregon, and playing number 3 Oregon.
Ooh,
This is gonna be a shootout to say the least. Big Ten. You're essentially looking at the Big Ten championship a little early.
A little teaser.
Yeah. I think it sucks being a USC fan, seeing Oregon be this good. They've been this good for years now. And Dylan Gabriel has just improved as the weeks have gone by. It's gonna be such a good game though. I think I'm gonna go with the home team. I think Oregon, which would be an upsets Ohio State. And even though it is technically a revenge game for Chip Kelly, we'll see.
I do believe I saw a stat that teams are 1-8 or they're 1 and something. The numbers don't look good for teams that have to travel across 2 time zones so far this year.
Mm.
So if you listen to that, it's gonna be Oregon. I'm gonna stick with that, not only because of that stat. I'm gonna stick with that and say Oregon. I do think that if Ohio State were to win, this is gonna be some bully ball. This is gonna be the fact that Oregon can certainly keep up with Ohio State speed-wise.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of unsure if Oregon can keep up with Ohio State physicality-wise. You know, those premier Big Ten schools are built to play against the SEC in the playoff. That's just kind of what they are. And you need speed and size to play against the SEC. That's why Michigan had it last year. Ohio State always had it. And that's why you see these premium teams. That's why I think that's the big difference. You see the whole joke about Penn State is Penn State plays real good until they lose to Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I think that's Penn State is built like a whole lot of the other Big Ten teams, similar to USC, which is why I don't see Penn State, I know I made the joke, but this is, in all seriousness, this is why I don't see Penn State blowing out USC. I think they're very similar. I think that the teams that are big and fast obviously win. It's football, baby. And so I know I said Oregon, and I'm going to stick to that, even though it sounded like I was going to switch to Ohio State. I think that Oregon's high tempo offense will tire out. It's the kind of like a perfect mixture to tire out that big and fast Ohio State defense. And I think it's going to be too much at the end of the day. Although Oregon struggled to stop Genty. Doesn't seem like anybody can stop Genty, like we just said.
I don't think a brick wall can.
No, I don't think so either. I think that Oregon comes out juiced. They're playing in front of the home crowd.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful night. And on top of it, this game kicks off at what?
It's kicking off at 4:30.
Prime time.
35 weather. Because I was kind of worried this was going to be one of those old Pac-12 games, when they used to kick off at like 7 or 8. That's a massive disadvantage to Ohio State.
Yeah.
10, 11 o'clock. But I think Oregon will win at the end of the day, but this is going to be an overfest. I think both teams can easily score 40. This game.
Nice.
Now I'm going to let them, and the final score is like 20-18 or something to send.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You know anything about this game?
I think for me, if it were in Ohio State, I think we'd be looking at it differently. But the fact that it's in Oregon, I think you got to favor them. And I mean, that's who I'm taking in this game. Just because, that I don't know if you guys have ever seen that crowd, but man, that place is jumping. You would think it's an SEC crowd. The way they care about that team out there. So I think for me, I'm taking Oregon, but it's going to be fun regardless.
All right, guys, I was kind of dumb, and I decided to talk to them before I outroed about some of the other stuff we're going to do, get some, kind of like shorts and videos out there. Got some guess who's, some laugh or make a noise when you see a better player than, stuff like that. But I did that before we outroed. So sorry for the little cut right there. That's on me 100%. But thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and click over to the shorts, watch our shorts, wherever you're watching on. We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever you call it. But yeah, go ahead and jump over there. Check us out there if you like shorter videos. And thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, guys.